the current government, haven't, in my opinion, really done a lot to insert a lot of confidence in the market. There's not been any, incentives with stamp duty or different. So we had Help to Buy schemes and things like that, which really help buyers on the property market. There's not really been anything like that. When there is no confidence in the market, we sit on our hands. We do nothing. And I think that's probably the worst thing we do because it's all relative.
Welcome to the Growth Diary, Patsy Irwin-Brown. It's great to have you.
Thank you, Keith. Thanks for having me on.
So tell us a little bit more about what the business does and who you serve and where you are, and give us a bit of insight.
Yeah, sure. So MyPIPS was born from when I first left agency. So I worked for a independent, large estate agency in London. I was there for 15 years, and I left just before COVID. So end of 2019, beginning of 2020. And when I left, obviously there was lockdown. And I was thinking about what I wanted to do next. And I knew there was always going to be a gap in the market for buyer representation. Because when buyers come to you and you're an estate agent, they are negotiating directly with you. And there is a conflict there because you obviously are contracted by the seller. So it gave me, I had a light bulb moment, and I thought that buyers really needed that guidance and hand holding throughout the entire process. So that's how I came about starting the business.
20 years in the industry, most people who have been in that long have either carry on in the same direction or move out entirely. What made you go in that completely different direction?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've had my other businesses before I went into property. After 15 years, there wasn't a lot of growth where I was working, and I struggled within that corporate community, to be honest. So when I came out, I knew that I wanted to work for myself again. So the MyPIPS idea came from when I did some work for a friend of mine who was a mortgage broker, and I just spent my entire day helping his clients, because they would call the broker and say, I've got a problem with the survey, it's just come back and there's problems with the roof, and what shall I do? Or they would say, I just can't get hold of my solicitor, or it's just not going anywhere, there's a huge chain, I don't know what to do, help me. And the thing about the mortgage broker is they are experts in finance and lending, but really not how estate agency works. And so that's where I thought to myself, do you know what? Not only as an estate agent, I always felt conflicted by not being able to give the buyers the best service. But now, compounded by the fact that I'm working in a mortgage broker's and people are really, wanting help and appreciating the help that I was giving them. So, and I thought I can monetize it and turn it into a business and offer the service to many more buyers that may need it.
This is a really interesting one. It's a conflict that I feel like no one really talks about. A lot of people, especially in the audience, won't have thought about this probably, is that an estate agent is paid by the seller.
Because they've got a contract and they get
Yeah.
paid by the seller. So if the seller says, I want X amount of money for my property, or I cannot make this completion dates, I want you to get me that completion date, then that is your responsibility to work in the best interest of your client. And as much, because I did this, and as much as you give a really good service, you've got responsibility to give a best service to your buyer, you can't fulfill that on a, contractually. You can't, because you're working for your seller. So the buyers that really left out in the cold, to be honest with you. And nobody talks about it.
For someone listening who's about to start looking at properties, to buy for themselves, what does working with your business look like? Take us through the end-to-end process from when they walk in and then they pick up the keys at the other end.
So exactly how an estate agent looks after their clients who are selling, what I do as a buyer agent is I will look after you from the very beginning is ideal, so that I can help consult on the properties that you're looking at, help you ask the real relevant questions that you need to ask the estate agent when you're on the viewings, and then also then put you in a really good position if you want to make an offer, formulate the offer for you, negotiate on your behalf, because I've
Yeah.
negotiated thousands of transactions directly with sellers. So I understand the psychology behind it.
Mm.
Once an offer is accepted, what do we do in which order to, number one, help you save time, money, and stress? And I'm with you. So I do all the day to day chasing, speaking to the solicitors, problem solving, strategizing about what to do when problems arise. And
Mm.
then we get you prepared for exchange of contracts and then picking up the keys, which is the most fun bit. So all the buyer
Mm.
has to do is go shopping, find the property they love, and then pick up the keys and move in. And I do the rest.
That sounds awesome because I love the shopping part.
Yeah.
It's just the yeah. I just when I think about moving and having to go through the stresses of the dealing and all of the paperwork, I can imagine it puts a lot of people off. But if you've got someone like you who can deal with all of that, that is just taking all of the hard work out of it for them.
It is because I mean,
Yeah.
when buying a property, there are so many different things that can affect it. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I'm working with a mortgage broker at the moment who wants to buy. He's buying a property. He's asked me to look after it for him. He's getting so much pressure from his agent that he's buying from. Why are you not getting the searches? Where's your mortgage offer? We haven't raised inquiries. And when I've come on board and I'm doing all this checking, there's not even a complete chain, which means we can't move, we can't do anything. So they're
No.
asking him to spend all this money and to push it along, but we're not even have a complete chain above us. So,
No.
this is the issue that we have. So what I do is I will protect and look after the buyer to make sure you're making good decisions and you're saving money because it's expensive. Abortive sales are so expensive.
Mm.
So if something goes wrong and then you have to start the process again, you're losing money every time it's coming out of your deposit. So get it right from the beginning as much as you can, and then you're less risk of having to keep paying for the same mistake over and over again.
Absolutely. You were mentioning about a large part of your client base coming from Hong Kong and
Yes.
the Hong Kong community. You've got people relocating from there. They don't know the system here. How did that all come about?
So I was referred a client from a mortgage broker that I work very closely with. And he was born here, but his parents
Mm.
are from Hong Kong. But a lot of his friends and family were coming over. And because I did such a good job for him, he then started referring. And I think also as well, it's about they don't know the system and how it works here. And it's
Mm.
just a minefield. So I get a lot of personal referrals from that community who
Right.
are now moving over and really helping them manage that purchasing process. So I mean, to be honest with you, at first I was looking at my target market and I was really trying to, you know, approach first time buyers, or the Hong Kong community, so people that have never done it before. But
Mm.
actually, my target market is anybody that's buying. So I have experienced sellers, but they just are time poor and they
Yeah.
don't want the hassle. And I have equally first time buyers and I have the blue light community. So people that just haven't got the time or are on shift work, and they are getting numerous amounts of calls and they just can't deal with it and it's becoming overwhelming.
And looking at the market right now, looking back, you've worked through some of the most extreme property markets, looking at the 16+% interest rates of 1986, the Northern
Yep.
Rock collapse in 2008, post-COVID surge.
Brexit.
Brexit. Where does that sort of current market sit in context to the rest of that?
Okay, so the the government, the current government, haven't, in my opinion, really done a lot to insert a lot of confidence in the market. There's not been any incentives with stamp duty or different. So we had help to buy schemes and things like that, which really help buyers on the property market. There's not really
Mm.
been anything like that. So there's been a bit of a stagnant market, and I think
Mm.
now what's happening is with the increase of pricing of oil, Interest rates are starting to go up. You can see lenders are starting to withdraw their products as well. And that's really shaking up the market. And what we do as a nation is when there is no confidence in the market, we sit on our hands. We do nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
probably the worst thing we do because it's all relative. So if you are, say, for instance, there's been a shift in property prices by 10%, if you're buying 10% less and you're in a chain, then that doesn't matter. It's all relative, right?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
need to keep the market going. And I think with first-time buyers especially, I think this is a really good time to buy, right? Because there are deals to be there that, vendors are starting to feel that actually maybe I need to be a bit more flexible with my asking price.
The first time market is just dried up and it's so slow at the moment. But with it being slow, people are going to get desperate. Some people are going to be more desperate than others and have a bit more motivation. And that breeds the grounds for negotiation, right?
Exactly. And I think as well, there is that fine line and balance because when you are an estate agent, because I did this, right, and you're working in the best interest of your seller,
Mm.
the last thing you're going to do is you're going to say to a buyer, look, we've had no viewings, just give me a low offer. You're not going
Yeah.
to do that as an estate agent. So having somebody that's looking after you as a buyer, somebody that's
Yeah.
been in the business, that understands the markets, can
Mm.
negotiate for you. And we are negotiating professional to professional.
Mm.
And so me and the estate agent can have that conversation. So that is
Mm.
where the strength of it all comes in and the benefits of using a buyer agent.
Looking at technology and the human touch side of your business, I mean, property essentially is a people business at its core. And you've been very clear the emotional intelligence side of what you do can't be replicated at all by AI, and I agree. And you mentioned AI is helping you collate information, though, in the back end and helping you do your job in a better way and a faster way. So where do you see the line being crossed between AI and the human touch in your business?
Yeah. I think, to be honest with you, with AI, it's really good to research now. And even the portals have got AI within their portals as well. So now even the client can see it. So now you can see when properties are reduced, you can see what they paid for it, you can see what properties are sold locally. So you can work out your own comparable evidence. Okay. So that's where I think the buyer is getting a bit more clued up.
Mm.
That means the estate agent has to be better, right? So for us, researching is definitely a lot quicker now and a lot more effective. The negotiation, though, I don't think that AI is there yet to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
That's
interesting.
years of experience. That's years
Yeah.
of dealing with different people, different circumstances, different characters and characteristics, knowing when to push, when to be gentle, and all of those things. And I just don't think that it's there yet. Hopefully won't get there till I retire. A little while to go.
I almost hope it doesn't get there because I like the idea of it being controlled by humans always.
Yeah.
And then you having to train it and how it should behave, and then you having ultimate control over it. And so looking at your vision of the business moving forward, and you talked about wanting consultants like yourself working around the country. So if you've got a buyer in Windsor, someone, you've got a local representative helping Windsor buyers, someone in Manchester the same. I mean, that's looking at a national network. So how close are you to that? What needs to happen now to help you get to that level?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it has been a slow growth. I'm not going to lie. People don't know that they need a service until they have the service and they've experienced it. So it has been it has been slow. And also, as well, that when you're going to look for your target market, it's really difficult to go and find buyers. Yes, you can go onto Facebook. Yes, you can go onto Instagram and all of those social media, but it's saturated. Okay. Rightmove, Zoopla on the market won't let us near there to advertise. So it's been quite slow, but all of a sudden they're starting to get traction. And what I foresee the business going is that, yes, you will have mini me's in your local area. So that when you instruct a MyPIPS consultant, they will be able to go with you and view the property as well. That's my dream. And you get more of a one-on-one relationship as well. It even close one, because I do a lot of video, on WhatsApp video or Zoom. But to physically go and do a viewing with a client, it would be magical. You would
Yeah.
be able to physically go and have a look at the property and say, look, we need to just check on this, do this, and all of that. So that is my aim.
Sick. I think you're going to do great, and I'm sure you're going to go from strength to strength. So thank you so much for giving some insight into what you do and your plans for the future, and for your time today and on the show. So anyone who's looking for a property, have a look at the description. All the details are going to be in there for your business, your telephone number, website address, email. So get in contact with her.
Brilliant. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.